This video is brought to you by CatBeast.com. Design your own custom snapbacks and hats.
Hey guys, how is everyone doing today? I hope all of you guys are having a great day. I'm sitting down and talking to you guys about something that thousands of you over the past year and a half have asked me. You've wanted to see a video of it, and I'm going to be telling you guys the best ways to sell your sneakers or to resell sneakers, to make sure you don't lose money, to make sure you don't get scammed, to make sure that it's an enjoyable and pleasant experience for you, and to make sure people don't hate you for completely gouging them and asking for ridiculous prices. As always, let me know how you're doing down in the comment section below. I always love hearing what you guys are up to, and if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button and smash that like button. It actually does go a long way in helping out the videos. But lots of my younger viewers, even some of my older viewers, ask me all the time, they're like, yo, Tom, Ray, how do I sell my sneakers? You know, I always have trouble. Where's the best place to sell them? I don't want to deal with the 20% commission that some consignment stores take. I don't want to deal with all the fees and the hassle of eBay. How do I sell my sneakers? What do I do? And I'm gonna be going over my tips and tricks for selling sneakers. Now, I'm not a crazy reseller or anything. I occasionally sell sneakers that I already own in my collection. I've never bought a pair with the intent to resell. So I'm gonna be giving you tips from my perspective and also from the perspective of a person who understands the sneaker industry and has dealt with a lot of resellers over the past couple of years. The first thing that we're going to be talking about, this is having to do with sneakers that you already own in your collection and maybe you've worn them a couple times. I see tons of people putting it up on Craigslist, Facebook groups, Instagram pages, selling a worn pair of shoes. Like, let's say I got my Yeezys right here. I'm like, Yeezy 350 V2 worn 4 times. I'm asking whatever, $450, whatever. And then there's dirt all over the bottom. Taking that 10 minutes to clean your shoes before you sell them increases the value by a lot. You'd be surprised. If I could sell them for $450 with dirt on the bottom, I could probably sell them for $480, $490, $500 without the dirt on the bottom. It makes it look like it's in better condition. So you might think, oh, I'm selling them, I don't need to clean them up, what's the point? No, clean up your shoes. It's a really tiny thing and it goes a long way. Another thing that comes with selling used shoes is try and avoid the rating out of 10 scale. That can cause a lot of confusion. I have been sorely disappointed and I've been very excited when buying shoes that were a 9 out of 10. Some of them looked brand new and some of them had big creases and was dirty on the bottom, and they definitely weren't a 9 out of 10. Describe the shoe. Say there's dirt on the bottom, there's a scuff on the heel, besides that it's perfectly fine. Or there's a small amount of creasing on the right shoe, besides that it's perfectly fine. I'd much rather hear that there's nothing wrong with the shoe, a little bit of creasing, a tiny little scuff, than have to guess by seeing a 7.5 out of 10. Now let's talk about where to sell your shoes. I've sold shoes in a variety of places, and I'm going to give you guys my opinions on the best places and the easiest places to sell your kicks. So I'd recommend staying away from eBay. They take a 10% purchase fee off of every eBay purchase. So if I sell a pair of shoes for $100, all of a sudden I only get $90. And then PayPal takes a little bit of a fee, so I only end up getting around $87 off a $100 pair of sneakers. There are awesome apps that let you sell sneakers. You guys have heard of some, obviously, Goat, Slang, all that stuff. And then there's also Craigslist, Kijiji if you're in Canada, it's basically like the Canadian Craigslist, and also sneaker Facebook and Instagram groups. That is where I've had the most success and gotten the most money for my kicks selling them, is on sneaker Facebook and Instagram groups, because there's tons of people looking exactly for what you're selling. Hopefully there's lots of people in your size. There are groups devoted to completely size 12s or completely size 9.5 shoes, and it makes it really easy to sell your shoes. So those groups online on social media is a great way to reach an audience that is looking to buy your shoes. And another place that's actually something that a lot of people don't think of is sneaker events. Whether it be SneakerCon or just your local event in your small town in the middle of nowhere, sneaker events are a good place to both buy but especially sell shoes, because once again you have a whole bunch of people looking to purchase things. They have cash on hand, they spent the admission to this event, they don't want to leave empty-handed, they want to buy something. You can actually get away with charging a little bit more at these events. I'd say you can mark up your prices $10 to $30 at sneaker events, simply because people came with the intention of buying sneakers and they don't want to leave empty-handed. The best part of this is you pay the fee for your table, which is usually around anywhere from $100 to $250, and then besides that you have no fees to cover. You don't need to pay a 10% tax, you don't need to pay 15% to the vendor that's consigning them for you. You get all the money after the cost of the table. So those are the places I would recommend selling your sneakers. Now we're going to talk about the real money, where the real money is made, and that is reselling sneakers that were bought with the intention to resell. I sold a few pairs of my shoes the other day, yesterday in fact, and I made $3,000 off of that, just like that. And these weren't hyped up shoes, these weren't limited shoes, these were shoes that I held on to, that were in my collection. Most of them weren't even worn, which was a good positive thing as well, and I was able to make a big profit on most of these shoes. Now the reason for that, the reason why I'm able to buy shoes that aren't even limited and make a profit on them, is patience. Now this is going to be something that probably most of you guys don't want to hear, but if you hold on to a pair of shoes longer, perfect example would be the white Yeezys. They dipped to like $420 and the price has slowly gone up and up and up and up, because everyone was trying to undercut each other the first week that they released, and like, oh, I gotta sell them now. Hold on to them, guys. Patience is key when selling your sneakers. If you want to get the most money you can for your sneakers, I'm actually terrified holding this much cash on hand. I think I'm gonna get robbed, so guys, please don't rob me. That would be, I'm going to the bank as soon as I finish filming this video. The longer you hold on to shoes, 80% of the time the value will go up. Sure, there's some times where they might do a restock or they might release a colorway that looks very similar. People might lose interest in that particular model, but the 20% of the time that that does happen, it's all good, because the 80% of the time that it doesn't happen, the value does go up, you'll 100% make your money back on the ones that you might lose a little bit of potential profit on. There are tons of examples. Ultra Boost creams, when those first came out, I know Fowler Customs had 2 pairs, sold them for $240 a piece. Now they go for $800 at consignment stores. Shattered backboards, those were going for around $300 to $350 a couple months after the release. Now they're going for anywhere from $600 to $900 depending on where you're shopping. The price goes up. If you're looking for a brand new pair, every day someone undead stocks a pair of shoes, so there's less and less and less. So be patient with your shoes. A perfect example of this is I bought a pair of navy Ultra Boosts, and I had all intentions of keeping them, but I got them and I was like, yeah, I don't really like these, and they sold out everywhere and they didn't restock, and I bought them for retail, and yesterday I was able to sell them for $60 above retail because they were brand new and they released 7 months ago and I hadn't worn them, because you can't find a dead stock pair everywhere. Everyone wants to wear shoes because that's why they're buying them, right? So as time goes on, there are less and less and less dead stock pairs of sneakers. So this is the hardest thing to do, especially if you don't have a large bankroll to hold on to dozens of pairs of shoes at the same time. But if you buy a pair of shoes that sells out the day you buy it, hold on to it, and 80% of the time the value will go up. Now obviously buying Yeezys is an amazing way to make money off of shoes, but you can't buy Yeezys for retail too often. So now we're going to be talking about what the average everyday kid or person that has $50 in their pocket can do to make money off of shoes. Hit up Nike outlets, hit up Marshalls, hit up Ross's, hit up places where they have shoes for really good deals. When I was in 12th grade, I was making YouTube, but I wasn't making that much money off YouTube. One thing I did to be able to afford shoes is I would hit up Winners, which is basically the Canadian equivalent of Marshalls, and I'd go through and I'd find the shoes that are like, you know what, these are only priced at $60 here. I feel pretty confident I could sell these $85 to one of my friends or on a Facebook group or something like that. And I did that. I probably sold 20 to 30 pairs of shoes over the course of my grade 12 year, making $20 here or there. And what I would do is I would put that $20 or $30 right back into the shoes. I think I started off with $100 that I was spending on shoes to sell for a $20 markup. By the end of the year, I had around, I think it was close to $1,000. So I had profited $900 by flipping shoes that I found at Nike outlets, at Marshalls, at Ross's, at discount shoe retailers. They're not hyped up sneakers, they're not expensive sneakers. I'd buy a pair of Nike Hyper Revs for $55 and I'd sell them for $70. Someone got a really good price, I made a couple bucks, and I kept it moving on to the next pair. That's something that you can do as a young person. It takes time, but that's what you gotta do if you wanna make money off your sneakers. Now I hope these tips have been somewhat helpful to you guys. If there's any more questions you have or any pointers that you have, leave them down in the comment section below. I'm always very curious to hear what you guys have to think. And the last point that I will address on this video is, how do I feel about resellers? Because obviously I've given a lot of tips and tricks to maybe help people resell in the future. I personally, I would love to get all shoes for retail, except I can't knock someone for wanting to make a profit. They wouldn't be able to resell a shoe if it wasn't hyped and if it wasn't limited. Like, they can't resell the Jordan 1 red metallics that came out, because guess what? They're sitting on shelves, right? So it's only the shoes that everyone wants that people resell, and that's how the world works in everything. Supply and demand. If more people want it than there is a supply, the price goes up. So it's not a sneaker thing, it's just an economics thing. I don't think resellers are bad. I certainly don't think they ruin the sneaker game, but those were some tips of how to make thousands of dollars selling your sneakers. Seriously, you can make thousands of dollars as a kid by flipping sneakers from Nike outlets, by selling shoes from your collection, by buying a pair of Ultra Boost that you think might sell out, holding on to it for 6 months, and making $60 off of it. Like, it's a hustle, it's a grind. Unless you have connects to get tons of Yeezys, you're not going to be making thousands of dollars right away. Except you build a bankroll, and if you become able to buy tons of shoes at the same time, you can actually make a decent profit off of it. So thank you guys for watching. Make sure to hit that like button if you haven't already, and I'll catch you guys tomorrow. So until then, peace.